Hello, my name is Nadine and welcome to Hop Along Studio. So the question I want to answer today is how do we dry and protect leaves for use in our creative projects? It's fall right now in Calgary, the weather is beautiful, and there's so many beautiful changing leaves. So I often will go through the park and find leaves that I love, but then how do you protect them? How do you do something besides just leave them in a book so they don't get wrecked? How can you use them without them crackling or crumbling on your creative projects? What you need to be able to do is add some protection to them. And so with this leaf that I have already protected, you can see you can almost bend it in half and it's fine. And so today I'm not only going to show you how you can dry your leaves, but also how you can protect them so that you can use them in your creative projects. So my favorite way of drying leaves is using a case-bound journal like this. And this sketchbook has them both stitched and glued. And so it has a nice tight spine to it. And that's what you're looking for when you're looking to dry leaves. I would not use the spiral notebook. It's going to be too loose and you're going to probably lose some of your leaves. And because this particular book has very thick pages, any moisture from the leaves isn't going to affect the paper and you're going to end up with a really nice dried leaf. And so I'm usually scouring around in parks. I usually have a book like this with me. I went to the zoo the other day and I picked up some leaves. These ones here are just straight from my garden. And so basically what I'm doing is just adding them in and then pressing it closed. And then finding another spot in here and then adding another leaf in and pressing it closed. And you can continue to do that until you fill it full of all the leaves that you want. You can put an elastic band around this so that it will stay shut. The other option is if you feel like it's not staying flat enough, just add another book on top and just leave it there for a few weeks. For me, because of the fact that I live in a semi-arid climate, it usually dries within a couple weeks and I can use them right away. Even in this book, this is a leaf I picked up from the zoo a couple weeks ago and it's already fully dry. You can tell it's fully dry just because it doesn't have any moisture to it. If you feel like the new leaves versus the old leaves, these have a lot less moisture. It's very flat. You can see it still has some of those nice veins, which I'm really glad that it kept, but it is fully dry. And so for me, I just find a book is almost the easiest way to do this. I know there's lots of things out there about using wax paper and putting it down in books, but honestly, I'm so often just wandering around, sketching and doing other things that having a book that I can just throw something into really quickly is the best way for me to dry leaves. And so what I've done over the years is just basically take leaves from my trees, leaves from my bushes, leaves from parks I found in Calgary, at the zoo, and I've dried them and just added them to this box so that I have lots of options to choose from when I want to work on things in my art journal. But now the question is, how do we protect these leaves? Because again, they are very brittle. You can see even here little pieces keep coming off of my leaves even as I handle them. So I'm going to show you a really quick way of sealing these so they're nice and strong for your art journal project. So I wanted to show you how you can use matte medium for coating these leaves. And what I'm doing is going in very gently with the matte medium and just adding it very gently to the leaf. So as you can see, it is absorbing the medium, and this is just going to make it nice and strong. And because this matte medium is clear and very, very thin, the nice thing about it is you're still going to get those textures, which means that if you want to add in other paint and other things on top of this, you're still going to be able to have that texture that you love, but it's going to prevent it from breaking apart and giving you issues as you use them. It's important that you do fully dry your leaves before you do this step. I like working this in small areas with a smaller brush, just so that I can get it into all those nooks and crevices. And we're going to want to do the other side of this, but you want to let the first side dry, because if you seal the entire leaf, the nice thing is then you're going to be able to use it on a variety of projects and not have to worry about things falling apart. And the reason we want to use a matte medium, if at all possible, sometimes gloss mediums I find make the pages in my art journal stick together. So by using a matte medium, this shouldn't stick to the other page. It's going to have a really nice coverage, and because it's going to dry completely clear, it's a really nice option for your art journal page. You could also use these for adding leaves on cards or really any sort of project, but you just want to make sure that you have something on it just to keep it from just breaking apart and getting too brittle. I want to show you an example also with a soft gel medium. And this is a semi-gloss, so it's kind of a nice balance between the matte and the gloss, but you'll notice it's quite a bit thicker. The problem with that is if you have a very delicate leaf, it's probably going to give you a little bit of problems with it pulling and possibly destroying your leaf. And that's why I like using the matte medium, where you'll notice with the gel medium, it goes on quite a bit stronger. You're also seeing it's leaving lines. So those lines will be picked up. And so where the matte medium is very gentle and you basically don't see those lines, here you are getting brush strokes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just depends if you want brush strokes shown in your leaves or not. This is a slightly thicker gel, so it does go on quite a bit thicker. So if you really like that look, you can go for it. So the gel mediums do work, but I do prefer the matte medium just because of the fact that you don't have to worry about the brush strokes. It goes on really easily, and I don't have to worry about it pulling or destroying the leaves. Because I do use a lot of matte medium with tissue paper and with napkins, and if it works with tissue paper and napkins, it's the perfect thing for protecting these leaves. So you can see that by only using a couple materials, you can end up really protecting these leaves and getting them to be really bendy. As much as I do suggest adding just one layer to the front and one layer to the back, if you feel like it's not strong enough, if you need a stronger leaf, add 2 or 3 layers to the front, add 2 or 3 layers to the back, but just make sure you let the medium dry between each layer. That's going to make it stronger and stronger. And then if you wanted to add some paint on that, that's going to make it even stronger still. And if you'd like to see an example of how to use these leaves in an art journal project, next week I'm going to be sharing how to do a mixed media art journal page using dried leaves. I will show you other ways that you can add additional layers onto your leaves in that video. In the meantime, if you're looking for another project including fall leaves, click here. This is one that I did last fall when I was playing around with leaves in my art journal and in my creative projects. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, if you can like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I'll see you in the next video.